Boogeyman Ben. Horror Zone.
Greetings, my fellow fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for another episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. And this is going to be my thoughts on the movie Deadpool. And I just saw Deadpool last night. Here is my little Deadpool pop figure, a bobblehead that I got last summer. Very happy to have gotten this because I'm sure he's going to be very hard to come by, even though they've made so much more Deadpool merchandise with the movie having just come out. But my thoughts on the film is it was a fucking blast. I absolutely loved it. And I'm not going to go into too many details here because my old reviews tended to run kind of long and I kind of just want to get to the heart of it. Just because I've just seen the film, I'm going to give everybody that's not familiar with Deadpool a little, just sort of like a little details on the plot. So it's a former Special Forces operative turned mercenary is subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopting the alter ego Deadpool. And pretty much what that plot doesn't explain is that Wade Wilson, who is Ryan Reynolds, aka Deadpool, finds out that he is diagnosed with terminal cancer. He is approached by this organization, and the villain of the film, Ajax, played by Ed Skrein, put him through these horrible experiments and everything, and it leaves him disfigured. And pretty much the bulk of the movie is him seeking revenge for what Ajax has done to him. But you also have terrific performances in this film. I think Ed Skrein was a great villain as Ajax. But you also have great comedic roles like T.J. Miller's Weasel character, who is just hilarious. Also, it was really great seeing the X-Men in this, particularly Colossus. And I believe this is the first, I think, and I heard somebody else say this, and I can't remember what other critic I heard, but I think it's the best depiction of Colossus that we've seen in a film so far. Colossus is, the voice of him is done by Stefan Kapicic. And then you also have Negasonic Teenage Warhead, played by Brianna Hildebrand, and I really loved her too. She was great. For the love interest in the film, you have Marina Baccarin. She plays Vanessa, and that's Wade Wilson's girlfriend. She is fucking gorgeous. I remember her from the movie, from the show Homeland. I thought she was gorgeous there. She's even more gorgeous in this film. But she's also, a kick-ass female lead. She's not like the heroine or the damsel in distress. She can throw down, and I love that about this film. This film has, and also I want to mention who wrote it and who directed it. So it was written by Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Fabian Nicieza, and Rob Liefeld created the character. And then it was directed by Tim Miller, and I believe this is his first big directorial effort. Yeah, it's a fucking blast. It is not a film for kids. I mean, let's put it this way. I'll say it this way. I grew up in the 80s, and I saw a lot of films that were not for kids. I grew up watching Friday the 13th and things like that, and going to see, I remember for my 11th birthday, and I mentioned it last year, I went to see Friday the 13th Part 5 for my 11th birthday. There's plenty of nudity, plenty of gore, bad language in that, and I had a blast. So it just depends on your kid. That's how I'm going to say it. If you have kids and you think they can handle it, take them to see it. I feel like we're too big on censoring kids from violence and from sex and bad language. I mean, the whole thing is that I grew up on stuff like that, and I turned out just fine. I've never hurt anybody, committed a robbery, shot anybody, so I think I turned out okay. And if you have a child that can handle stuff like that, and they're, I'd still say 10, 11, 12 probably would be the perfect age to take them to, but I saw movies like American Werewolf in London when I was 7, and I'm fine, and there was sex scenes in that. So, like I said, there is a lot of sex in this, there's violence, there's lots of nudity, lots of bad language, over-the-top special effects, but I absolutely love the character of Deadpool. And I was not a very big Deadpool fan before this. I mean, I knew who he was, and, he'd been in a few guest starring spots in comics that I do collect, but because of this, I am a huge Deadpool fan. I actually went out and bought the Uncanny Deadpool today because I am now just a huge fan. I want to know more about this character. He's just so fun and so over the top, and the humor in this film is fucking awesome. And Ryan Reynolds, who I've always been a fan of, I mean, I've liked him going back to, I wasn't a big fan of the show that he was on, Two Guys and a Girl in a Pizza Place, or something like that. I never saw that. My wife was really big into that show. But I loved him in Blade Trinity, which was the first thing I really saw him in. And I thought he stole that movie. He was fantastic as Hannibal King. And then Amityville Horror, and I really loved him in Buried, which is a very underrated film. Also Just Friends, which is a great comedy. I didn't like Green Lantern, but I just didn't feel like that was the vehicle for him. This is the vehicle for him. Because even in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which people do not like, his part in it was one of my favorite parts of it. And I know that I just remember seeing that film and not understanding when everybody was so pissed off at the end when they changed Deadpool and made him this weird guy that had adamantium swords come out of his hands and everything like that. And everybody was like, that's not Deadpool. I didn't know who Deadpool was. But now I understand why people were pissed, because this is the accurate depiction of Deadpool. This film pokes so much fun at other superhero films, including ones that Ryan Reynolds has been in. So if you want a good time, and I'm glad that this was R-rated, I think it's so great that this movie is going to kick butt at the box office, because I think this is the way it needed to go down. We needed an R-rated superhero film. Even though the ones that Marvel have been putting out have been great, I think films like this do need to exist. Blade was a fantastic series up until the third one, which I still have issues with. But, yeah, there's nothing wrong with adults enjoying some R-rated, kick-ass action superhero movies. And I'm glad that this film is getting the buzz and the hype. And from the audience that we saw it with, I know it's going to be a huge box office hit. And my rating for it is 5 skulls. So that is my review of Deadpool, and I got my little buddy right here, and new comic, and I'm really going to start getting into this character. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. And if you have seen Deadpool, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to hear what everyone has to say. And as always, thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you next time. Take it easy. Stay scared.